It has been a busy year for oil and gas player Uzma. Following a spate of contract wins and an internal restructuring, the company seems poised for the upswing. However, will the uneven performance of oil put a stop to all of that? We talked to Group CEO Datuk Kamarul Redzuan Muhamed about prospects and helming an oil and gas company amid unsure times. So over the past few months, Uzma has actually seen quite a regular influx of contracts. One of the latest was an umbrella contract from Petronas Carigali. And so as we enter the last quarter of the year, how many more of these contracts are you eyeing?
I think overall the activities has heightened up since earlier this year. This year alone, we probably announced about 8 contracts have been awarded. Being the latest is being the Pulai PNA project, which is a quite significant contract. As it is, we actually have 230 live tender, market survey, work order requests and all that as is ongoing. And typical life cycle for this is about 60 to 180 days. So some of those tenders we look forward to get it.
But based on that cycle, how many more are you actually expecting to land before we wrap up 2018?
It's kind of tough to say, okay, because you don't want to overpromise things and all that. But so far our success rate is quite high, okay. Some of those tenders are kind of small, some of those are quite large. We are anticipating a couple of contracts to be land outside Malaysia. Currently we are doing a few work in Indonesia. We are doing 4 rigs in Indonesia. We hope by end of the year we'll be running 6 rigs in Indonesia. In Thailand we are running 4 hydraulic workover work at the moment. We hope to land at least 2 more before year end.
The other thing that of course we mentioned was that you now have a 5-year plan, or a 5-year plan for Uzma. So can you give us sort of the touchstones of what this plan is and the new things that we can expect?
Maybe I elaborate a little bit. Uzma started in 2000, so we have seen 3 cycles before, which is at the beginning of we started in 2000, that was the low oil price. When we started, the oil price was $10 plus. And 2008, it went down again, and then now since end of 2014 and all that. Every time we've gone through this downturn, we learn something new. Going back to our 5-year plan, we have 4 core things that we want to do. We want to balance our portfolio. We say that out of these 3 core products, we want to make sure that it's pretty much balanced out. Okay? We also want to make sure that the income generated from overseas is increased from where it is at the moment. Currently, we are probably generating about 15% of our income from overseas. Okay. By 2022, we want to have about 30-35 will be generated from overseas while still growing domestically as well.
You mentioned being through 3 cycles, right? And of course, people have been talking about recovery in ONG for years. It's been a very, very long downturn. Admittedly, even people in ONG actually say that, right? It's been a longer downturn. You will see it pick up, but it's so uneven. So what is your outlook then?
I feel like we probably have seen the worst, okay, in this cycle. All the indications, all the reports, whether it's come from EIA, IEA or IHS and all that, indicating that we are coming out from the downturn. But people have said that before, okay? Yes. As you say, it's uneven. But from our perspective, I think that in the last 4 years, the client, the service company, everybody else know how to reduce their costs now, making sure that even at the lower oil price, everybody can be profitable.
Aside from the 5-year plan, you've also done some inner housekeeping as well. So you've sort of changed your financial year. Why the reason for that?
Okay, I mean a lot of people ask that question. We have quite a bit of offerings, and we have about 19 subsidiaries and associates at the moment. But about 80% of our income comes from one single subsidiary. So we have to de-risk this. So we are splitting our company into 3 core products so that we restructure this. And this takes a lot of time because it involves taxation, restructuring of people, moving people into a right place, consolidation of resources, capabilities and all that. So this restructuring comes out of necessity to actually manage our risk as well. Our focus right now, as I said, we just want to implement the contract that has been awarded and translate that into the numbers and results for our shareholders.
Well, other than that, you've also had a new chairman, didn't you?
Yes.
You actually have a new chairman. Your previous chairman, Al-Habshi, was known as a very strong political player. Is his reason for leaving just purely his own interests?
Yes, I mean, Uzma started as a company that I started many years ago in 2000. We went public in 2007, 2008. We still a very small family-run business, which we don't know anybody back then. Okay, and we met Datuk Sai Ali Al Habshi through what you call common acquaintance, who actually he's actually a chairman of at that time of Tanjung Offshore. So that's how we started, and he has contributed a lot to us. But he's already with the company for nearly 10 years, and I think for good governance, anybody at the directorship and following the standards and all that, I think people want to live after 9-10 years in the company. So, and I think he's also want to spend time with his family. I think he's not only letting go of Uzma positions, but also at other places as well.
Okay.
And we are very happy to have Datuk Abdullah Karim as our new chairman. He's a very well known what do you call this, oil man, if you like, and he was ex-president of one of our biggest clients, Petronas Ceringali.
Your top line's actually dropping, but your bottom line's going up. That is a sign of good margin management. Are you expecting your margins to stay this robust? And what else are you doing to defend them?
I mean, we made a conscious decision way back in 2013 that we want to get out from the low margin business. Okay? We have a few business that in the low margin, because that's how we started first. Okay, so we make a conscious decision that we want to get out from there. It's low margin, it's back to the cash flow and all that, and focus on value added services that have a high technology where we can demand good margin, because we create a lot of value for our client. For example, one of our services produce millions of barrels for our clients, so the cost for them is minuscule to the value that we create for them. So the client do not mind to pay the right services if we create the right value for our clients. So in the last few years, since 2013-14, we've been focusing in that kind of a sectors.